Hi guys and welcome to MotorBeam. It was in 2015 when Maruti launched the S-Cross for the first time in India with 1.3 litre and 1.6 litre diesel engines, with the latter offering incredible performance while the former fetched the majority of the sales. In 2017, this car got a midlife facelift, and with that the bigger diesel engine was phased out. Until recently, the S-Cross was available with only a 1.3 litre diesel engine. But now, after the BS6 norms have come into place, the S-Cross gets a 1.5 litre petrol engine shared with the Ciaz, Ertiga, XL6 and Vitara Brezza. Let's drive the S-Cross Petrol and let's see how it performs. The Maruti S-Cross gets the same K15B petrol engine, which makes 103 horses and 138 Nm of torque. This engine is offered with a 5-speed manual or an old school torque converter 4-speed automatic. This engine has excellent refinement. This car just doesn't vibrate at all. The NVH levels are very nicely under control and the engine is also very silent, especially at lower RPMs. After crossing the 4000 RPM mark, this engine does get a bit vocal. Talking about the performance of this engine, well, the low end is very nicely tuned. The low end drivability is excellent and the S-Cross feels so much easy to drive in the city. At lower RPMs, this crossover feels very responsive to throttle inputs. The mid-range is punchy enough for day-to-day driving, but the power delivery is a bit flat and this engine doesn't really offer the thrills of, say, Honda's 1.5 litre petrol engine. Once you reach the 4000 RPM mark, this engine again starts feeling livelier. It feels all the more punchy and it redlines very cleanly all the way to 6300 RPM. The S-Cross Petrol gets Maruti's SHVS system, which basically offers 3 functions. So it has regenerative braking. When you brake the car, it recharges the lithium-ion battery that is placed below the passenger seat. It also has an automatic start-stop function. So when you bring the car to a halt, when you switch to neutral and release the clutch, the car stops automatically. And again, when you want to start going, you just press the clutch and the engine comes to life within a second. The third feature offered by SHVS is the torque assist feature, which offers a slight amount of torque at lower RPMs. You can look at the functioning of the SHVS system in the MID over here. When you brake and when the regenerative braking is working, it shows a small icon over here. And when the torque assist feature is working, it shows another icon which shows an arrow between the engine and the tire. The ideal start-stop function is very seamless and doesn't have any lag. You can obviously switch it off, but if you do use it, the fuel efficiency goes up by a slight margin. Now the quintessential question asked by almost every Indian consumer is kitna deti hai? So if we talk about the ARF figures, the petrol manual version delivers 18.55 km per litre while the automatic version delivers 18.43 km per litre. Both these figures are significantly lower than what the diesel engine offered. In day-to-day conditions, you can expect this petrol engine to deliver around 11 to 12 km per litre in city traffic, and this can go up to 14 km per litre or in 15 km per litre out on the highways. This petrol engine does a good job of moving the S-Cross. The low end is responsive, the mid-range is a bit flat, but the top end is again very punchy, so drivability is not an issue with this car. The 1.3 litre diesel engine had a torquey nature and it was also modification friendly. The ride and handling balance of the S-Cross has always been very good. The suspension is tuned on the stiffer side, so when you're driving the car at low speeds, the ride does feel a bit stiff, but it is not uncomfortable. It is quite plush and the car feels very mature over bad roads. Even out on the highways or on the twisties, this car does offer a lot of confidence to the driver. The steering of the S-Cross is very light at city speeds. It does weigh up a bit on the highways, but the kind of feedback that it offers leaves a lot to be desired, and this steering feels a bit vague. A more feedback-rich steering would have really added to the driving experience of this crossover. What I like about the S-Cross is the fact that it gets rear disc brakes and the braking performance is indeed very good, but the brake pedal could have been a bit more feelsome. So the brake pedal has a lot of play, and only after around 50% of the travel is done that you start feeling some bite. Now I am driving the manual variant, which gets a 5-speed transmission. The gearbox is nicely calibrated to the engine, the gear ratios are very nicely spaced out, and even the clutch is extremely light. The gear shifts are also very smooth, so that is not an issue. Meanwhile, if we talk about the automatic gearbox, well, it is a 4-speed unit. We have experienced it in the past with the Vitara Brezza, the Ciaz, the Ertiga and the XL6, and it does its job really well. It is a good gearbox if you're buying an automatic only for the convenience, but if you want slick shifts, obviously this one doesn't feel as quick as some of the modern torque converters. The S-Cross gets 215 section 16-inch tires, and these tires are more than adequate for this car. The Maruti S-Cross doesn't really have any proper competitor in this price bracket because most of the compact SUVs are sub 4 meters in length, while this car is 4.3 meters long. The S-Cross feels very mature to drive and it also has a big car feel, so there's no reason to complain on the driving dynamics front. But if we talk about the engines that are offered on other compact SUVs, well, you get different options like diesel engines, turbo petrol engines, and obviously naturally aspirated engines. The S-Cross gets only one engine option, so this could be a slight negative point for some customers. After the 2017 facelift, no cosmetic changes have been made to the S-Cross. This car looks very well proportioned, the dimensions are nicely sorted, and it comes across as a very pleasant looking car. Unlike other compact SUVs, as I mentioned before, this one is 4.3 meters in length, which is almost the length of a C-segment sedan. The S-Cross isn't very popular on our roads, so you do get a slight amount of exclusivity with this car. At the rear, you get an SHES badge, which denotes the presence of the smart hybrid tech under the hood of this car. The layout of the dashboard of the S-Cross Petrol is exactly the same as before, no changes have been made. The interior gets an all black color theme, but you do get some silver accents over here, and the overall quality levels inside the cabin are decently good. Now this car gets a SmartPlay Studio infotainment system, which is different from the one that was offered earlier, and this one packs in some more features, and the screen is also extremely fluid to use. This gets Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you also get connectivity for USB and aux-in. Along with that, this car gets 4 speakers and 2 tweeters. The sound quality from the stock speakers is just about good. It's not all that great. If we talk about the features on offer, this car gets dual front airbags, ABS, ISOFIX child seat mounts, automatic headlamps, automatic wipers, automatic climate control, and even electrically folding and adjustable mirrors. Along with that, you get keyless go with push button start, steering mounted audio and phone controls, and even cruise control. The S-Cross also gets LED projector headlamps and an auto dimming inside rearview mirror. If you buy the automatic version of the S-Cross Petrol, you also get ESP with hill hold assist that isn't offered on the manual variant. The seats of this car are very generous when it comes to space and comfort. Both the front and the rear seats are extremely comfortable over long drives, and there's a good amount of space in the cabin. For the rear seat, you get a center armrest and also 2 adjustable headrests. However, if you think about some of the other compact SUVs, this one does lack a few features like sunroof, multiple airbags, and even rear AC vents. Lots of companies have started offering connected car features, and again that is missing on the S-Cross. The Maruti S-Cross is a very practical car because the boot is very well sized and there are lots of storage spaces, lots of cubby holes and bottle holders in the cabin. All the doors get bottle holders, there are small storage spaces. You also get 2 large cup holders in the center console, a storage space over here, and even a storage space under the front center armrest. The S-Cross is one of the best offerings in the Maruti Suzuki portfolio, and this car does deserve a lot more sales. It drives in a very mature manner, it is spacious and practical, and it is a very well-rounded package. Yes, it loses out on some equipment that is offered by other compact SUVs, but this one is bigger compared to the other sub 4 meter offerings in this price bracket. If you don't really need a diesel engine, the S-Cross Petrol makes for a fantastic buy. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think about the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross Petrol 1.5 liter.